and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
And 100% Math. Invest in your child's academic success. Visit 100%math.com or call 547-9817.
And now, Radio Cayman presents The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, Cayman Islands. How are we feeling out there? This is your host of the Business Buzz, Kathy Miller. I'm saying that this morning we have a bit of a different Business Buzz. It's not your usual interviews that we do with our businesses and entrepreneurs and community leaders. We are going to be focused on Hurricane Beryl, which is expected to hit us within the next 36, 38, 40 hours or so. That's by my estimate. I do have a 7 a.m. update I can give you. But first, we're going to hear some information as it is coming from my guest in studio this morning. So far, I have Troy Worms, Director for Public Works. Good morning, Troy. How are you doing?
Good morning, Kathy. I'm doing really well. Thank you for having us.
No problems. It's good to have you so far. I know there's supposed to be more people. I don't know where they're all at, but at least you made it so far. So happy to have you. Although I wish it wasn't necessarily on this topic that we're going to be discussing, which is really all about to do with Hurricane Beryl, right?
Correct.
So what's going on from the Public Works point of view? What do we need to know?
So from Public Works perspective, we've been, as long as with the NEOC and other members of the disaster preparedness team for the country, we've been actively working for quite a while now. A few days, it's all a big blur at this point, but what's happening on the ground right now is that we have pulled the trigger in respect to shuttering up our 122 government properties, making sure that the Class A shelters and Class B shelters are ready when necessary. So obviously more meetings will be happening and different council briefings will be happening as well. But from a preventative and preparedness standpoint, the Public Works Department is with the NRA and the DVS and a joint strategy for our Ministry of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transport and Development team through our Minister, the Honorable Mr. Johanny J. Banks.
Mm-hmm.
We are ready. We're going to be ready today for having our properties prepared and just making sure that we can reassure the public that we have done this before in respect to resiliency, being prepared, providing guidance, keeping a level head in this process as well. It takes a lot to get this together, when we get into making sure that we can execute this exercise within 6 hours and being able to reassure the public that, shelters are ready, being able to reassure our own families, our staff members that the plans are working and we are correcting anything that may not have gone so well and still have time to be able to address things while, that 36-hour is clicking.
Right.
We're doing as much as we can early so that we can identify any gaps, if there are any.
So you said this is day 3 of prep as it's coming from Public Works.
Correct.
So I know that we've been warned of this last week. It was on the horizon to look at last week. And I want to say almost Friday that it was like, okay, guys, we seriously have to pay attention. So looking at that was that around the time that Public Works said, or the ministry really of PAHI, did it come down to, okay, we've got to buckle up now and start putting in those extra prep steps from now instead of waiting, 2 days ahead, which would be right now, I guess.
So the good thing about preparedness is the earlier and the more time you have, the better. So
yes.
We actually did our exercise and our prep exercise from May 1st and went through 122 properties already and being able to shutter up and made them ready within that 4.5 hours this year. So right now we're going through a live event. So realistically, we're not foreseeing any challenges. It's just making sure that people are not panicking and really doing what they have prepared for. We have a really good team. You know, we didn't have any injuries or incidents. We haven't had any in the past in our shuttering exercises.
You did that in 4.5 hours, all the facilities? I need you to rewind there just a little tiny bit.
Yeah, to bring it down, actually, we did it in 4 hours and 23 minutes.
Wow, okay.
That's 122 properties, which is, you know, it's quite impressive when we look at being able to assemble a team of 238 people and being able to hit 122 properties and just taking it through that process very quickly. It's like it's the art and the science all at once, and our team is very engaged and committed to be able to address whatever pops up, and like I said, be safe and have a level head through the process to be able to also help others once we finish with our responsibilities.
Because I was going to ask next, so what happens when you're done securing all of the government facilities and making sure they're shuttered up and hopefully secure as possible from a storm such as the one that we're going to be expecting with Hurricane Beryl? What do you do after that's done and you've secured the government facilities? What's next on the agenda?
So once the government facilities are secured, it's making sure that any other things that pop up ad hoc requests to support the community, persons might not be as prepared as they would want to be. Once you go through the actual hazard management website, which is Cayman Prepared, there's a lot of resources and information there that be able to point you into the right direction in respect to requesting information or requesting assistance, whatever that may be, depending on what you're dealing with. And guidance will be provided through the call centers there. And what happens in the background then is Public Works and other members of the government provide support teams from the NEOC, the council itself, and the subclusters to be able to provide resource support and any other matters that we can do from a preparedness standpoint. But then we also are ramping up our plans and strategies for aftermath of any incident that could happen. So we're also preparing for those things at this point as well. So it's pretty much all systems go, and our goal is to just be as prepared as possible regardless of what category may or may not come. Even if the storm or system or hurricane were to pass us, no matter what system that is, we still have to be prepared and be ready for the worst and hope for the best.
Okay. That sounds very hopeful. Be ready for the worst, but hope for the best there. But we do have a Category 5 hurricane that's, I'm going to say, I think by sometime tomorrow it should be hitting Jamaica. And that's a Cat 5. That's really big. And then the Cayman Islands is on a hurricane alert, right? Or hurricane warning now. A Cat 5 is really scary to think about it. I know you seem optimistic, Troy. I mean, I walked in this morning, I'm like, how are you really feeling about this, Troy? How's it going? You're like, well, I'm prepared. You know, you just seem very calm, very focused about this. And I guess in so many senses of it, you have to have somebody who is level-headed, who is calm and is not freaking out at the helm, really. And that is something that you do seem to possess, is that calmness. But I think there is that real uneasy feeling going through people like, this is a Cat 5. I've heard it in comparison to Hurricane Ivan, which was almost 20 years ago, right? So when we're looking at that and we're like, okay, Cat 5, we're still almost about 2 days out. I don't know if that could change. You know, some people are saying it might hit us at like a Cat 1 or 2, something low like that. Who knows what could happen? But we have 2 days. So when it comes down to the people also getting prepared in less than 2 days now, the grocery stores seem to be okay. But we know that it's a pretty big storm headed our way. We know what a tropical storm did earlier to us earlier in the year. And then if you have to look at last summer as well, it was mostly tropical storms. So we didn't really get hit by any hurricanes. So when it comes down to understanding that this is a really, really, really big one, what would you say to the people that need to have a sort of sense of urgency right now to get ready? I mean, you've had a few days with Public Works, right? So you know what it's like slowly getting ready. But if you're just starting now, what are the things to think about?
The things to think about, it's not to panic. You know, obviously you need to take care of stuff. When you get into, you mentioned about me being calm and level-headed in this process.
Very.
The reason for that is that I've been through a few storms, and our teams have been through a few storms. Even Ivan itself, seeing what happened and the devastation from a country standpoint, and looking at how we've grown as a country since then. Mm-hmm. Our plans and preparedness, there's just so much that has gotten better. And when you think of categories 1 through 5 and what they could be and mean for, you know, your personal well-being and for the country, if you're already preparing for a Category 5, you're doing everything you could possibly do. So if you've now done those things, you don't need to worry about it because you've done everything and prepared everything possible. So I would say start there, and being able to have contingency plans and then being able to help others is key. Obviously, you can't be overconfident and think that just because you've prepared everything will go according to plan. For me, when I plan and I go to that level of executing and, being able to execute on that plan, I also expect things to go very wrong. But that's when your training, your preparedness, your level-headedness is necessary, because if you're panicking in those moments, we're not our best selves. So, just take it one step at a time. As problems come up, you solve them one at a time, trying to manage your emotions, being able to take care of others, being able to, find healthy ways to release any frustrations and anything that is going to be a barrier to you to be successful and get through the storm in a good headspace. Lean on those things and those people around you.
What's it feeling like for you? So when I made that Ivan comparison, do you have, if you can remember back to 20 years ago now, do you have that same kind of feeling or that same unease before the storm hits as you would have had possibly back then?
I would say back then, 20 years ago, I was quite naive to storms.
Okay.
So I ended up being at the fire station, being rescued myself, not working for the government at that time, but working as an intern and seeing the process from a different perspective.
Were you interning at the fire station?
No, I actually got rescued. I was at my mom's house, and that was close by Triple C, and that area got completely flooded, like covering vehicles and those types of things. We got rescued by the fire service and brought to the fire department itself, which actually was where the NEOC, the Emergency Response Center for the country, was at the time. It's now moved to the Government Administration Building. So basically, that is the hub of being able to manage from a country standpoint in a structured way, and being able to roll plans out, and being able to connect with persons outside of the Cayman Islands, as well as key team members within the Cayman Islands as well. That is the hub of that where the resource comes from, and obviously there's other plans in place for shelter preparedness, and different members of the constituency offices, and they're doing their parts in the community as well. They are. So everyone, it's a full country effort to be able to pull this off. And like even looking at, you mentioned about 20 years ago, being there versus now, so seeing it for what it was then and what it is now, it's not an overconfidence for the government, but we take this very seriously. You're definitely not naive anymore like definitely it was 20 years ago. Anymore. Okay. All right. We like to hear that. You don't sound naive at all with it. You sound very calm and we got this, guys. We got this. Correct. And it's a great feeling to have. We got to go to our first commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue talking with Troy, Director of Public Works, hear a little bit more about the plans, all the works that they did put in place to prep for this hurricane, and anything else that we may need to know. Stay tuned to the Business Buzz.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
On January the 18th, 1962, the Assembly of the Cayman Islands voted unanimously to continue their present association with Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom. Leading the change for remaining a British Crown colony was Dr. Roy McTaggart, the 9th national hero of the Cayman Islands. Opposed to aligning with Jamaica, Dr. Roy canvassed the Cayman Islands and received more than 3,000 signatures in support of remaining with Britain. MLAs from the sister islands were equally vocal in their support of being tied to Britain in the strongest possible terms, with a signed petition of 79% of the registered voters stating if Grand Cayman chose to remain with an independent Jamaica, the sister islands would seek separate crown colony status under Britain.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
You're listening to Radio Cayman 89.9 FM. We now present a message to the people of the Cayman Islands, especially to Cayman Brac, from the Honorable Premier, Ms. Juliana O'Connor Connolly.
I come to you this morning as the representative of Cayman Brac East to give instructions as to the logistics for the distribution of plywood here for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman, as well as Cayman Brac East. Those of you who are from Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman, please note that your plywood, those who are in need and in need only, please enter through the Stake Bay Beach Road, Stake Bay Front Road, through Martin Roper entrance. Your plywood will be placed in the parking lot of the new District Administration building by the Vehicle Inspection building. You will enter through the Stake Bay Front Road and you would leave through that road. Those constituents from Cayman Brac East, you will enter through the Stake Bay Main Road to the old District Administration building next to the library, and your plywood for distribution would be there. All members will be required to sign up receipt of the plywood. The distribution will commence at 9 o'clock this morning. 9 o'clock this morning, being Tuesday, the 2nd of July. God bless you. Remain safe. Stay dry.
That was a message from the Honorable Premier, Ms. Juliana O'Connor Connolly, for the people of Cayman Brac.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Elevate your child's math skills with 100% math with premier math tutoring services under the expert guidance of our renowned mathematicians, Professor Emeritus Romain Angelov and Dr. Mackenzie. Programs are designed to secure IB, HL, and SL Math, CSEC A-Levels, and IGCSE success. Whether your child aims to get ahead or catch up, 100% Math is your partner in achieving their academic goals. Don't let your child's math skills lag. Visit us at 100%math.com or call or WhatsApp 547-9817.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
We are now in the hurricane season, and to survive a hurricane, you need to be informed. If you have been informed by official sources that a hurricane is approaching the Cayman Islands, and you live in a low-lying area that is prone to flooding or near the beaches, which may be swept by high tides or storm waves, please seek a safe place and high ground. If the only way for you to get to a safe place is a road that is also likely to be flooded during a storm, please leave home early. Don't run the risk of being stranded. This has been a public service announcement from your community station, Radio Cayman.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
All right, welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio with me this morning, I have the Director for Public Works. I have Mr. Troy Worms joining me this morning, and we were talking about a little bit of the things that Public Works does to get the country prepared, to get the government buildings prepared and shuttered up, bundled up, ready to go in case we get hit by a, not in case, this is almost a pretty, for sure thing, we're going to get hit by a hurricane in the next 30, 36 hours, 40 hours or so, right? So, Troy, you were telling us that in just over 4 hours, I think 4 hours and 23 minutes, there was a hurricane preparedness exercise done, was it earlier in June or May this year? In May this year, that in that 4 hours and I think 23 minutes, you were able to shutter up all the buildings and have them prepared in the event that a storm comes. So you know that very fast, Public Works can get to helping to secure the government buildings and different facilities that are out there, right?
Correct.
What else goes into that that exercise that you have to do for the hurricane preparedness?
So in the exercise itself, we go through quite a bit because it's a training opportunity for new staff and a refresher for staff that, we just need to make sure that everything works well coming into a storm.
We can't hear you for some reason. I don't know what happened. What happened, Paul? We cut his we cut his mic off. Can you try this mic just in case? We don't know what happened to the mic. It just it disappeared. Let's see that.
Is this better?
Yeah, I can hear you now. That was odd.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into preparedness exercises, and like me just changing that mic just now, we expect things to not go so well. So it's like having a plan B. So you have a plan B right here, right now. That's your mic. We can switch it and have another mic. But when we go through activities, we have multiple members of our teams. So even at the Public Works Department right now, I'm on the radio while the activity is happening, because what we plan in the exercise is for me to actually not be there. And have a backup system for every tier downwards in respect to resiliency and other people who can take on responsibilities, because we also serve on different subcommittees as well for disaster preparedness. And when we go through these activities, we're making sure that all of our mechanical, electrical, plumbing, our cisterns, everything that is working, hurricane shelters being inspected, being able to put up our shutters, making sure that people are also installing and having it inspected and double checked after. We've already reached out to the Children and Family Services, the director there as well, because they also take care of the vulnerable and the elderly as well. So we do shutter up those 24-hour facilities, such as the Golden Age Home and other facilities that's similar to that.
Okay.
And what we take into consideration in shuttering up, because it can be quite a dramatic experience for our seniors. And we try to just give extra care in that process and not just slap on shutters and just say, hurricane is coming. But there's a sensitization that goes through from those departments, and being able to know that Public Works is coming there, we're shuttering up, and that we'll be back to take them back off and keeping them safe. So there's a lot of communication that does need to happen on a regular basis to make sure that people are not panicking. And the persons that will probably panic the most are persons that are not quite sure what's going on. So, sometimes people are not on the social media channels, or they're not getting information. So, spend that time to be able to have a little empathy with persons that may not understand things the same way that you do.
Right.
Break it down, explain it to them, dumb it down as simple as possible. What do you need? Shutter up, stay safe, go to a shelter, have a plan, make sure you have enough food, make sure you can, reach someone, you have a radio, you have your chargers, you have your activity books, like whatever it is to keep yourself busy during that time and keep yourself productive. It is a time that we can't go out, if a hurricane is upon us. So being able to use that time wisely, many people will have different things that you do, but just be prepared and keep yourself, engaged with whatever it is you need to do to be your best self.
All right. Thank you for that. You had mentioned some information about subcommittees right there. I heard you slip in some subcommittees, right? And I believe you do serve on 2 subcommittees, okay, that have to do with kind of disaster management, or?
Correct.
Okay, tell us about these.
So 2 of the subcommittees are resource support and the infrastructure cluster that I serve on as well. And in those capacities, so there's one of the subcommittees is the continuity of operations subcommittee that falls into resource support. So what happens is that's the team that gets together, and Miss Gloria calls us the Avengers, because whenever there's something that's happening, if we need to be able to figure out the continuity plans for government and being able to provide support and guidance as where's best to place people after a storm, or even in any natural disaster, we're called upon from that capacity. Resource support also provides other services as well to the country, but when the information comes in to get dispatched and support that needs to happen, requests come in, there's an organized way to request it. That's one committee, and then the other committee is infrastructure, which kind of deals with the preparedness before from a utility standpoint. Looking at when we turn off the water, when we turn off the power, how do we preserve our lines? Are we having resiliency plans built in to all of the different service providers that take care of us during a normal basis? And then what is the contingency plan after the fact in respect to like clearing the roads, all clear, and those activities that need to happen to make sure that when people do get back on the roads in the all clear, that it is safe to do so. So there's quite a bit that happens in those processes as well, from a public works, but also at committee level.
Okay, that is a lot right there for sure. We only have maybe about a minute left before we got to go to our 8 a.m. news break. But if you want to leave our listening audience with, I guess, any last important bits of information that you want them to know, I'm sure there's so much you would want them to know. So if there's anything you want to leave our listening audience with, please take this minute to do so.
What I would say is just ensure that you dial into kmanprepared.gov.ky. Look, there's a lot of information going around in respect to news and information about the storm. The government is pushing out its official channels in respect to what you should be listening to. Listening to your Radio Cayman, going on gov.ky, going onto the government's official Instagram, the government's official Facebook, and getting official information. Try not to panic as much. Try not to get too excited about the wrong things. Try not to gossip too much about the wrong things. But being able to stick to your preparedness plans, stick to things that you've practiced. If you haven't had a preparedness plan, create one now. You have a little bit of time. Get to the stores. Do not panic. Don't buy every single thing that's in the store. We have a lot of supplies on island. So just get what you need to get through, a couple of days, and for whatever your family needs are. You know yourselves. But just stay vigilant, be curious, but not too curious. Stay off the roads. Listen to official sources, but, just ask the relevant questions and get official sources, and try to help one another as best as you can, because that's really what got us through Ivan, is leaning on each other, trusting in our processes, trusting in ourselves, trusting in everyone around us, and being able to just work as a country and bring that togetherness and just put country first and take care of your families.
All right. Great last words, Troy. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And if you haven't gotten that disaster plan ready as yet, you can get some guidance. Go to kmanprepared.ky. That is the website for hazard management, and it's going to give you all your resources for your shelters, how to have a hurricane plan in place if you don't know what to get. There's some resources there as well, and understanding what you need to buy for yourself, your pets, restocking on medicine, that kind of stuff. And as Troy said, now is not the time to go outside and play outside. So when that storm hits, you don't want to be playing in it for sure. You never know what could happen. So again, that information you need to find is kmanprepared.ky, just for you to stay in the know and understand what's going on. Best be prepared for a hurricane. Stay tuned to Radio Cayman, because we will be giving you information as we get it. We're going to be having interviews throughout the day with different members of government, different members of parliament, your emergency personnel leaders, everybody who's supposed to be there to help guide us through these storms. You're going to hear from them on Radio Cayman, so definitely stay tuned to us throughout the day. We've got to go to our 8 a.m. news right now.
Radio Cayman time check now, 8:01. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
We are Radio Cayman.
Covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. Hurricane watch for the Cayman Islands.
This is a dangerous hurricane, and we must continue to take it seriously.
Category 5 Hurricane Beryl is being watched closely by the National Weather Service. Here's forecaster Gilbert Miller.
Beryl is moving west-northwest at 22 miles per hour, maximum sustained winds of 165 miles per hour. Residents are encouraged to remain vigilant and stay updated with the latest weather developments.
The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida's 7 a.m. check shows that the eye of the storm was located near latitude 15 north, longitude 67.9 degrees west. Beryl is moving west-northwest near 22 miles per hour and is forecast to continue moving rapidly west-northwestward during the next couple of days and then turn westward by Thursday. On the forecast track, the center of Beryl will move quickly across the southeastern and central Caribbean Sea today and is forecast to pass near Jamaica tomorrow and Cayman on Thursday. Reports from the NHC says that the max winds are around 165 miles per hour with higher gusts. Weakening should begin later today, but Beryl will still be a major hurricane as it moves into the central Caribbean and passes over Cayman. Premier the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Connolly is in the BRAC this morning, making sure the sister islands are buttoned up as Hurricane Beryl approaches. Later this afternoon, she'll head back to Grand Cayman for the 5 o'clock meeting of the National Emergency Operations Committee.
We are a resilient people. He have founded these islands upon the seas. We have tested, we have tried, and we have proven that he's a God who answers prayers. And as we remember our brothers and sisters in the Eastern Caribbean this morning, as they tried to clean up, recover, assess the damage, we are at the other end of the spectrum where we are anticipating a close call, if not a direct call in Jamaica. The same for the Cayman Islands. Please listen to your official sources.
Official sources like Radio Cayman. Make sure to keep it locked right after our 8 a.m. news for a full statement from the Premier from Cayman Brac. Now, Acting Deputy Governor the Honorable Eric Bush, in his capacity as chairman of the National Hazard Management Council, says hurricane watch means that hurricane conditions are expected in the next 48 hours.
Residents and visitors are urged to take immediate precautions to protect themselves, their families, and their properties. Stay tuned for additional updates, and for more information, visit caymanprepared.ky.
Make sure that you're ready by taking proactive measures. Complete necessary preparations as soon as possible. Regularly check for updates from official sources, including the Weather Service, local government websites, and Radio Cayman. Make sure to adhere to guidance provided by local authorities, including potential evacuation orders and shelter information. Today, you should also prep to make sure your home is secure, finalize your emergency kit, and know where your nearest shelter is and plan your route. Her Excellency the Governor Jane Owen is reassuring residents this morning that the government stands ready for Hurricane Beryl, adding that the UK is ready to help and support should the situation escalate.
I've already heard from so many people who've experienced the effects of tropical storms and hurricanes before, and they all tell me how important preparedness is. I'm therefore urging everyone to use this time to complete your storm preparations if you haven't done so already. And let's all remember to assist and check on vulnerable neighbours, family and friends.
She has a few tips for you to prepare as well, including writing down emergency phone numbers and keeping them stored on your telephone.
Secondly, identify your nearest shelter and the different routes you might need to take to get there from your home. If you're a pet owner, you should pre-identify pet-friendly shelters. And because we're expecting some significant wave action, those people who own a boat should make sure they are docked safely or removed from the water and battened down. And finally, ensure that you have batteries for radios and flashlights in case we suffer any loss of power.
Now, speaking of shelters, Hazard Management Director Danny Coleman tells Radio Cayman authorities are preparing designated shelters for those who may need to evacuate. A notice will be shared when those are open.
We're strongly encouraging the public to take the time today to secure your homes, your boats and your businesses and finalise your emergency plans and your supply kit. Stay informed and stay safe, Cayman.
For accurate and timely information, make sure to keep it locked right here to Radio Cayman. You can also call the NEOC call center on 949-6555 or visit caymanprepared.gov.ky. You can also follow social media at Cayman Prepared on Instagram and Facebook for real-time updates. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, I'm Carsley Fuller.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM, 93.9 in Cayman Brac, and to all our listeners throughout the world on the Radio Cayman app and via gov.ky. 9 minutes after 8 o'clock, we now present a message to the people of the Cayman Islands from the Honorable Premier, Ms. Juliana O'Connor Connolly.
Good morning. By the time that you are hearing this message from myself to everyone within the Cayman Islands, you would have no doubt heard that Hurricane Beryl have started to shift a little bit more to the north, which brings the Cayman Islands more within the cones. This is a dangerous hurricane and we must continue to take it seriously. I am currently on Cayman Brac, my constituency. I flew over here yesterday afternoon to have a Sister Islands emergency meeting with the district commissioner who chairs that committee and other significant members representing the diversity of departments here on Cayman Brac and including the HSA. Our shelter managers have been notified of the distinct possibility of activation. We will meet for the National Emergency Committee at 5 o'clock this afternoon, as I will be returning to Grand Cayman. I co-chair that committee with Her Excellency the Governor. This will be a first for me since Hurricane Gilbert, when I had no other choice because I could not get a flight to Cayman Brac, but to remain in Grand Cayman. And I have since then chosen to be on Cayman Brac, as my house also offers safe shelter to many of the elderly persons here in Cayman Brac. However, as Premier of the country, I have to return to Grand Cayman today, but I am returning with the knowledge that we are as prepared as we can be here in the Sister Islands, and I am leaving their safety in the trust and the prayers of Almighty God. I can say that Little Cayman as well is prepared. We are sending a team of public work staffers over this morning at 8 o'clock to do the last minute preparations, and as well as to take extra supplies there to Little Cayman. The Little Cayman facility, the residential facility for the public work guys, is our one and only hurricane shelter there in Little Cayman, and they will be shuttering up that today and returning to the BRAC this afternoon. As far as supplies are concerned, our residents have been stocking up. The supermarkets are well stocked. Cayman Airways will be sending and reliably inform a cargo flight to Cayman Brac as the weekly barge did not make it to Cayman Brac this week. We have checked all of our drains. They are cleared, including the very significant and important drain at the west end by Crawfords to ensure that there's a swift and unobstructed flow in the vicinity of the airport, as that is a crucial link to the outside world. We have 3 shelters here in Cayman Brac: the Ashton Rudder Centre, the Multipurpose Hall, and the Western School, and relevant announcements will be going out as to the timing of opening of these shelters. The Ashton Rudder Centre has a capacity for 440 persons. The Multipurpose Hall has a capacity of 382 persons, and the Western School has a capacity of 250 persons. The Little Cayman Hurricane Shelter has a capacity of 140 persons. Our generators have all been checked at these respective shelters. They are all working. They are been serviced within the last few days. We have also begun to position our loaders at each of these facilities. We learned from Hurricane Paloma that it's best to decentralize our vehicles and to ensure that they're at various sectors of our islands. So in the event we have to clear roads, we can do it more efficiently and expeditiously. We have also traversed the islands. We have taken down all tents and covers, including by the pool and the Cayman Brac Sports Complex. Obviously, we have 4 modern and efficient towering lights by the football field. Yesterday, our guys were able to take down 2. The remaining 2 will be taken down today. We have also yesterday, as we have done throughout every single constituency in the Cayman Islands, offered the possibility of sandbags. We had a location at the Watering Place Gardens, as well as the government residence in the Cotton Tree Bay area. And I'm pleased to say that both of those sites were orderly. Persons were taking it seriously, and sandbags were filled and taken to the appropriate location. There's a small amount of fill remaining at both sites this morning, but I suspect that that will go as the day. We will monitor it. If there's a need for further fill and sandbags, we will ensure that they are placed there in adequate timing. We have also been updated from HSA. They will be stationed and mobilized as the main headquarters on the bluff at the annex to the Ashton Rudder Centre. I understand 17 individuals at the restroom that will need ambulance for transport. There are 8 other families from the Children and Family Services that will need ambulatory services. That logistical arrangements have been put in place. We want to thank Dr. Valasami and Vandalin for organizing that with Nurse Klein, and as well as our Children and Family Services unit. We have recently purchased 2 new water trucks at Public Works, and we will make them available to our water authorities should the need arise to have further capacity for water transport. We also have a 20-foot chiller generator that will be at the Ashton Rudder Centre for the need arise for refrigerated items. All of our supply storage have been fully stocked, and we are as prepared as we can be for that. We would advise everyone who attends any of our 4 hurricane shelters to please go prepared to take food for you and your family for 3 to 5 days. We have also been in contact with our other utility, being the Power and Light here in the island, and spoken to Mr. Jonathan Tibbetts. They are well advanced with their site preparation. The teams will go out today to inspect the transmissions and the lines throughout only. They will not be clearing any private lines today because there's an enhanced risk that debris will be projectiles when the hurricane arrives. We also will be sending out our public work crews with Mr. Lyndon Martin today to take a last minute run around the island to ensure that there are no debris that's along the sides of the roads. If in fact there is, that will be taken to the landfill. We have also been in contact with DH, in particular the director, who does an excellent job, Mr. Richard and Sims, and he also is well advanced with his preparation, and the garbage trucks will be out today and as much as they can tomorrow to ensure that our streets are as clean as possible and free from debris. We have spoken also to Flow. They have indicated that they are prepared as they can be. They are happy with the new fiber network that's on the sister islands, and we are confident that we will have that communication link back and forth. And I would like to remind my constituents here, as well as the entire Cayman Islands, but in particular the sister islands, as I will have to be in Grand Cayman for this hurricane event as leader of the political arm of government, that I will only be a phone call away, and I have a radio as well as a satellite phone to ensure that communication. You would know that I'm an avid believer in prayer, and I am praying. I would ask all believers to this time petition the throne of God for our safety and security of everyone within this territory. We have 52 trained certs here on the island. We also have a limited amount of regiment, but we're ensured by Tim Howell that they will be reporting to the district commissioner, the 3 that are on the island, and we know that the regiment stands ready to assist us this island in any capacity should that need arise. We're also, through Miguel Martin, asking him to liaise with Delroy as it relates to the ham radio users, so that will be a plan B should the need arise. We also are preparing extra oversized cots at the center for those clients from the rest home who will need to be as comfortable as possible as they will be moving from the rest home under the appropriate circumstances, and when the order is given, they will be allocated their usual platform space at the Ashton Redis Center. I should also wish to state that as it relates to our animals, we have a facility that's referred to as Noah's Ark. It's on the bluff by the agricultural ground, and it will be open on a first-come, first-served basis. We have also been fortunate to be assisted by the Adventist Church with their organized group, who will also be assisting, as well as the cadets as the need arise. I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of our uniformed branches, not just in the sister islands, but throughout the entire Cayman Islands, for the significant role that they have played in previous hurricane systems, and we have no doubt that they will continue to do the same for this approaching system. I come to you just to give instructions as to logistics for the distribution of plywood here for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman, as well as Cayman Brac East. Those of you who are from Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman, please note that your plywood, those who are in need and in need only, please enter through the Stake Bay Beach Road, Stake Bay Front Road, through Martin Roper entrance. Your plywood will be placed in the parking lot of the new district administration building by the vehicle inspection building. You will enter through the Stake Bay Front Road, and you would leave through that road. Those constituents from Cayman Brac East, you will enter through the Stake Bay Main Road to the old district administration building next to the library, and your plywood for distribution would be there. All members will be required to sign up receipt of the plywood. The distribution will commence at 9 o'clock this morning. 9 o'clock this morning, being Tuesday, the 2nd of July. I also want to take this opportunity to say, not just to the sister island residents, but the entire Cayman Islands, we are a resilient people. He have founded these islands upon the seas. We have tested, we have tried, and we have proven that he's a God who answers prayers. And as we remember our brothers and sisters in the Eastern Caribbean this morning as they tried to clean up, recover, assess the damage. We are at the other end of the spectrum where we are anticipating a close call, if not a direct call in Jamaica. The same for the Cayman Islands. Please listen to your official sources. Let me repeat that. Please listen to your official sources, and I can confirm that I have directed the government that although we are moving into the IT era and we have every possible platform which Dan and her team has been using effectively and efficiently in a timely manner, there are still a high percentage of our persons, in particular the outer districts, which includes the sister islands, that depend and listen to Radio Cayman as well as the government TV. So we will be ensuring that all messages get out to our national and government-owned radio station as a matter of priority. So Sister Island residents, stay tuned to Radio Cayman before, during, and after this weather system. God bless you. Remain safe. Stay dry.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets. Ours are handmade using 100% white meat, unlike the no-gets. At KFC, we hand-bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
In accordance with the Standards in Public Life Act, persons in public life must submit their 2024 declarations to the Register of Interest by 30th of July. Persons in public life include members of Parliament, senior public servants, members of governing bodies of statutory authorities and government companies, and members of commissions. Failure to submit a required declaration is an offence under the Act and can result in penalties. For more information or to file your 2024 declarations to the Register of Interest, visit www.standardsinpubliclifecommission.ky by 30th of July.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
Good morning, Cayman. Let's take a look at your weather. It's partly sunny on the outside, 84 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like about 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are out of the east at 12 miles per hour. Relative humidity, 83%. The barometric pressure is at 29.94 inches and falling. Light to moderate easterly winds and seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with a ridge of high pressure over the northern Caribbean. Further east, a tropical wave just east of the Cayman area is expected to move into our area overnight, supporting an increased chance of cloudiness and showers. And the Cayman Islands National Weather Service will continue to monitor the development of Category 5 Hurricane Beryl. Beryl is expected to bring life-threatening winds and storm surge to Jamaica on Wednesday. Hurricane Hunter aircraft report little change in strength over the past few hours. It's located at 15.0 north, 67.9 west, about 300 miles southeast of Isla Beta, Dominican Republic, about 625 miles east-southeast of Kingston, Jamaica, with maximum sustained winds of 165 miles per hour. Present movement west-northwest or 290 degrees at 22 miles per hour, with minimum central pressure at 934 millibars. With this, a hurricane warning is in effect for Jamaica. A hurricane watch is in effect for Grand Cayman and Little Cayman and Cayman Brac. And a tropical storm warning is in effect for the south coast of Dominican Republic from Punta Planec westward to the border with Haiti. So our forecast for today calls for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index near 109. Winds will be east or northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Later tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be east or northeast at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. We're in a high tide. Low tide is coming about 125. High again at 8:16 this evening. The outlook is for scattered thunderstorms with overcast skies and strong winds, which is expected from Thursday morning as Hurricane Beryl passes to the south of the Cayman Islands. A marine warning will be in place as extremely rough seas are expected. That is your latest weather.
We were on the edge of a breakthrough. I knew the substance was extraterrestrial, but I didn't realize.
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long, the entire lab exploded, and the radioactive sludge went everywhere. I ended up in the hospital for a few weeks, but I was able to manage everything with the CG Online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG BritK. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG BritK, where people come first.
Getting good sleep helps boost your mind and mood and can help prevent health problems. Women are more likely than men to have insomnia. Changing hormones during the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, and menopause can affect how well a woman sleeps, along with many other factors such as a poor mattress, screen time before bed, eating too late, and sleeping disorders such as sleep apnea. Making sleep-responsible choices and speaking with a physician can greatly improve your sleep schedule.
Mango season, you gotta love it. The Cayman Islands National Museum is pleased to feature Lukia, the family-friendly Mango Fest at the museum, Saturday, July 6th from 4 to 8 p.m. Purchase mangoes and other products by local artisans and specialty vendors, local food, live music, mango peeling, and eating competition. Take in all the sweet and unique flavors of the long, round, Julie mango, and so many more. Lukia at the museum on the waterfront, Saturday, July 6th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Lukia is proudly sponsored by the Cayman Islands Department of Tourism.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Let's take a quick look at the traffic situation right now. Of course, we do see some traffic in the Georgetown area coming off of Bobby Thompson Way. The traffic is built up there. And similar continuing on to Huldah Avenue to the C&B roundabout. And of course, the Butterfield roundabout is experiencing some traffic as well. And of course, in the Georgetown area, seeing some light traffic along the Shedden Road, similar on Edward Street. And of course, Crew Road is experiencing some slow-moving traffic as well as you try to merge in with traffic onto Smith Road or continuing onto Shedden Road. It's getting past the airport runway and continuing on into the Georgetown area. Some traffic, of course, will be expected today as people finish their final preparation for the arrival of Hurricane Beryl come Thursday morning. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, we'll see some movement of traffic as well as they also prepare for the arrival of Hurricane Beryl, which is imminent. So please do what you must to take care of yourself and your family, and of course your business as well. Just stay safe on the roads, Cayman. Buckle up, stay safe, and keep it locked to Radio Cayman for more informal features.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
In preparations for Hurricane Beryl, residents are encouraged to secure their homes and businesses, particularly those located in flood-prone areas. Sandbags are available from local hardware stores, and sand can be collected from the following locations: East End Civic Center, Frank Sound Fire Station, Anton Bodden Drive in Boddentown, Agriculture Grounds in Lower Valley, Bobby Thompson Way roundabout on the left-hand side in Georgetown, West Bay Fire Station, and the Watering Place Gardens in Cayman Brac. Also, members of the Lions Club are on hand to assist with filling bags at the Lions Center. Be prepared, stay vigilant, and remain safe.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Tired of feeling exhausted, no matter how much sleep you get? It could be sleep apnea, a condition affecting millions of people that often goes undiagnosed. At Total Health, we believe in the power of preventative care. That's why we're offering at-home Level 2 sleep studies, convenient, comfortable, and conducted in the privacy of your own home. Untreated, sleep apnea can lead to serious health issues like high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. Our comprehensive approach means you get personalized care from start to finish. Wake up to a healthier tomorrow with Total Health. Contact us today at 333-2222 or visit totalhealth.ky to schedule your at-home Level 2 sleep study. Because a good night's sleep is just the beginning. Total Health, your partner in preventative care.
This is Ronnie Anglin. I work in the water sports industry. I'm concerned that our islands are at a high risk of coral bleaching and coral disease outbreaks. Rising sea levels, sea temperatures, and ocean acidification have caused catastrophic increases in the number and severity of coral bleaching events, disease, and death. Snorkeling and diving may one day not be an option. To learn more about climate risk to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
All right, good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio for this segment of the Business Buzz, I am welcoming Danielle Coleman. She's the Director for Hazard Management Cayman Islands, and Gilbert Miller, Senior Weather Forecaster. Good morning. I wish it was on better circumstances, but good morning. How y'all doing today?
Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here, Kathy, and great to have all your listeners there spending some time with us.
Yes, I wish on a different matter.
However, it would be nice, but
really getting down to
at least they're here. So.
Yes, we're talking about Hurricane Beryl. Right now it's a Category 5 hurricane. Gilbert, I know that we had a bit of a weather update here that was given during the news, but I guess tell us what's some big stuff for us to know right now.
Yeah, the news got it right. The Category 5 now with 165 miles per hour winds. The track takes it across Jamaica this over the next 48 hours, and then the Cayman Islands is under hurricane watch. So we are next in line. The track has it weakening as it comes into an area of shear and some relatively cooler water temperatures, but we are hoping and praying that it has a significant weakening effect as it moves across the Caribbean and before it gets to us.
Is that possible?
Yeah, there is some consensus among the models that it should weaken, and that is the expectation, but the effect, how much so, is still yet to be seen. We're going to see over the course of today if how much that shear and the cooler temperatures of the water, how much effect it has on it.
Okay, because I was going to ask what would make the storm weaken from the 5 that it is currently at right now to a lower grade.
The biggest factor would be the shear, and that will just take the center of the storm and tilt it, which weakens a cyclone. So that's what we're hoping happens.
Okay, all right. That's hoping.
That's what we're seeing in the model. So it looks like it's going to be likely, but I just don't want to guarantee anything.
Right.
So we just want to temper expectations as to how much it's going to weaken, and we just want to make sure we stay in a state of preparedness and getting ready across the whole island, and just expect to be ready for anything. Actually,
it does not mean ease up in any way.
Absolutely not. I see a lot of these. Oh, it looks a bit better now. It's just so dynamic.
Yeah.
And of course, we've seen, again, we were woken up this during the night by the National Hurricane Center talking about, the changing from the from the alert to the actual watch. Getting woken up in the middle of the night by them is obviously, speaks volumes in itself. So again, I think it's just such a dynamic situation. You've really got to prepare for the worst case scenario, and again, hope for the best. And that's what we're doing across the whole of the National Emergency Operation, and the whole mechanism is having regular meetings, regular updates, getting everything we can in place that we can, at the very best scenario, we can just use it as a great test exercise for the next time the season's going to be a busy season. We need to be making sure we're ready for every eventuality.
I don't even know if it would be even a test exercise in that sense, because I feel like a couple weeks ago we went through that with that crazy rainfall that came. That wasn't even a tropical storm.
No, it was not. I mean, that was a regular out of character, really out of character for this time of year. I mean, June is one of our wet months, but that's amount of rainfall in that amount of time. We've been watching the area of upper level support for the last month and a half, which is also very strange. These systems, the support systems in that level usually last 3-4 days and move out of an area, but it's been sitting there almost, like I said, a month and a half. And luckily it's starting to weaken as we go along. And as you can see, some of the rainfall events over the Yucatan or whatever, that was influencing our weather for a while. So that situation was different, but this situation here is more in line with what we expect. Not this early in the season, but it's still hurricane season, and preparedness and getting ready for anything is vital.
And I think that's a good point. I mean, again, this is what we're learning to expect. This is probably very much likely to be the new reality we face with climate change, with global warming, with rapid intensification happens much more frequently because of the temperatures. So again, I think this is not going to be abnormal moving forward. It is what we're dealing with is a very, very realistic scenario of the state of the actual Earth right now.
Our new normal.
Our new normal, yeah, definitely.
Would you say, Gilbert, that the system that's been above us for about a month, that we've been battling with it's just been kind of weird weather that we've had in Cayman in the past month, would you say that system is giving favorable conditions to Hurricane Beryl to be stronger, or would that system kind of be fighting against it?
Luckily, it's moving out of our area and it's situated more over the Yucatan Peninsula and the Gulf of Mexico. It would, not give it favorable conditions actually right now. She's too far away from that to be influenced Beryl at the moment. I think the driver for Beryl right now is little shear and warm waters. And as it moves more to the west, it'll encounter more shear and cooler waters, which will drive the weakening.
Okay, so for the favorable conditions for Beryl to get stronger and pose even a bigger threat to us would be the warmer waters.
Yes.
And when you say more shear, what do you mean by that?
Shear in the vertical going into the atmosphere is an increase in wind speeds with height. Hurricanes and cyclones don't like that. They like to be very stacked on top of each other. And this shear that is expected to encounter would tilt the storm and take it from being stacked to more tilted and weaken it.
Okay. That's things that I had known nothing about. I'm like, that's just tilted, shared storm. I'm like, could that change at all? Could that share capacity change at all?
These guys go to school for a very long time to learn these terms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what it's looking right now is that it's going to be less favorable conditions for
Correct.
Hurricane.
But I just want to drive that this is a model. These are guidance.
Mm-hmm.
We still need to be prepared. It can shake in terms of its path. It can do a lot of things. These systems, once they get a certain strength, tend to create their own environment. But we still need to be prepared is the message that we're driving home.
Yeah, and I think, again, just talking about last night or during the night, the fact that it wobbled north again and it now has the sister islands, in particular Little Cayman, in the cone, the forecasted cone as potential impact. So, again, this is so unpredictable. I think the most important message today is just monitoring your radio, your official sources so closely and knowing what the situation is and making sure that you're ready for tomorrow and the next day, making sure that you have your plans in place, that you have your supply kits, know where you're going to shelter and ride out the storm, be looking after your pets, be looking after your children, making the children part of the actual conversation so they don't feel isolated and it's obviously a very scary time for children, but actually for everyone. But they, the children feed off the anxiety of the parents, and
right.
You only have to go to the supermarket to to feel that anxiety. So it's really important to have a really comprehensive approach to how you manage this over the next few days.
Right. It's not easy. I would say that the feeling out there is definitely different.
Yeah.
There's been some, I want to say, misleading photos that I've seen on social media being shared about how the supermarkets are completely out of certain things. I say it's misleading, and it also leads to that anxiety, because when I went to the supermarket hours after that photo was released yesterday, at least Kirk Market for me was very stocked. A lot of everything was still left there. So
there's so much surge capacity in the supermarkets. Again, we work with the supermarkets throughout the year to make sure that there's extra stock in at the hurricane season. And again, that misinformation sharing. I mean, we had at 1 o'clock this morning, we were dealing with a WhatsApp message that was going around that again was misleading, and it wasn't an official source. So just a really, again, please make sure you're only sharing official sources, for sources that you trust, that you know are actually legit, because I think a lot of the WhatsApp, it's a very easy way to communicate, but unless it's the official source, it does tend to cause a lot of confusion and spend obviously a lot of the time from the emergency responders, hazard management, DAC, Department of Communications and Weather, has to spend a lot of time trying to put out the official source and actually recognise the fact that it's an unofficial source. So, just really strongly encouraging people to be very responsible with what they're sharing on social media.
How do you deal with the fake news aspect then?
Well, we had to do a little, what do you call it, like a little alert during the night as to it was a source that was not an official source. So we just keep trying to encourage this message. As soon as we see one, we'll put a message out on our social media. But again, at this point, that message has gone very, very widely around. And the same with photographs, as you say. We've seen those photographs as well. And again, it's not the current status of these supermarkets. The supermarkets are very well stocked.
Yes.
Or at least they were yesterday. And again, they are with constant communication with us. To make sure that the stock is there and that we're not going to run out of food anytime soon in the Cayman Islands.
That's strongly what I believe, because I had a very good feeling yesterday. So I think it's just making people feel, okay, we do have that time.
Yeah.
We do still have a little bit of time ahead of us. I think we knew from late last week, okay, something's coming. Yeah. Pay attention to the weather. Pay a lot of attention. A lot of government departments have gotten on the ground a couple days ahead of time, like from the weekend, really.
Yeah.
Starting to do things. Public Works was just in here, and they were talking about I think it was from Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah, this mechanism's been moving for some time now. And again, it's between sandbags, between plywood, between just about the whole structure has been, operating over the last few days. Even things like water. I mean, I know water's always a bit of a concern. There is enough. Again, we've been liaising with the supermarkets. There's a very, very good stash of water at the supermarkets. But again, that doesn't stop you from filling up your own water. Obviously, the potable water is very, very drinkable. Being responsible, making sure you have the containers, that kind of thing. There's so many tips that we can share with you. Again, just have to look at the website, caymanprepared.ky, about how to get ready if by chance you don't want to fight in the supermarkets. Making sure that you probably have a lot of stuff at home you can just utilise now and get the water in the fridge and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's caymanprepared.ky. It's been helping me. You can find it at shelters. Because I feel prepared, and then all of a sudden I'm like, is this really happening?
It's actually it's a big list. Again, that's why we put it into one, and this is sort of hot off the press about a month ago, the newer form of this hurricane guide. But again, it's things that you don't necessarily think about. We have pages on how to make sure pets are ready to go and what they need, what the shelters need, if you're going to a shelter, what you can and can't take. There's also things like how to make sure your house is ready to go, trimming down leaves and coconuts and all that kind of stuff. And the idea is, again, making sure you do all these things to try and make sure the recovery phase of this is much easier.
Right.
If you're going to be cutting down, mangoes are great. It's mango season right now. Trimming those mango trees so that you don't lose all the branches and destroy the plant. And of course the coconuts. I got home yesterday and I had this lovely statue below my coconut tree. I should know better, of course. And it's all smashed already, and the winds haven't even come. I'm like, okay, well that's a sign. But again, just making sure that you are looking at those kind of potential projectiles in the air and securing them over the next 12, 15 hours.
Now, we spoke about how the past few weeks we have had a lot of rainfall, right? So that's been a bit of an issue in dealing with that, because of when the ground is super saturated.
Absolutely.
And then we're looking, there's a hurricane that's very likely going to hit us in a couple of days. What does that already say to the ground that is already really saturated in the areas that are have been going through a lot of flooding lately. What do we have to be even more vigilant in those areas? What does this mean?
I think Grace was a great example. You know, it was a tropical storm. There was so much damage to the beautiful trees that we've had in the Cayman Islands for 1,000 years, just because the ground was so wet. So I have no doubt, and I think Gilbert here as well will agree that, you know, we will be losing some fairly substantial foliage over the next couple of days if this stays on the current track, just because the grounds are so wet. And again, that's why we have to work very, very closely with our most vulnerable communities who have been washed out over the last few weeks. You know, like Van Dyke and Washington Boulevard, Cumber Avenue, there's Prospect. There's a number of different communities we're working with because it's absolutely critical that they get the stuff that they need, because they have been flooded out for weeks now. And again, making sure there's emergency drains in place by NRA and so forth. So a lot of work is going on with those communities because they have to be triaged as the most vulnerable.
I feel like you're not going to get any sleep until next December.
I haven't slept for 2 days. I'm going to say we were talking before we came on air about Red Bull and coffee.
Right.
And it'd be nice if I was having food as well, but I'm having peanuts here and there and nasty snacks.
That I understand too. Trust me, it's a natural thing that I think happens during this time.
We talk about everyone getting their supplies in order, and of course I don't think any of us have our food supplies in order when these kind of things kick off.
Either you're not eating or you're stressed. it's one of the two. I promise.
So true.
you.
Stress is her food.
Yeah. It's hard. I was looking at some videos from, I think you say it, Cariaco. And you know, we said this about 10 times.
Yeah.
Like, how do I say the name of that place? Cariaco. One of the two. One of the few. One of us hopefully will get the name right. We don't mean to.
I'm not even going to try. But
we're not going to. We don't mean to insult the country.
Yeah,
at all.
we're very much feeling for those. I mean, those guys have had a really bad hit. The flooding and the destruction is just so tragic. So our hearts really do go out to anyone who's been impacted by Beryl, because it really has been a really tough hit for a number of people already. We work very closely with a number of regional partners that we're in touch with, SEDEMA, Overseas Territories, and a number of other partners in Jamaica and so forth. And again, I think it's just been a bit of a shock really for everyone. You know, it's just so early in the season to be having this kind of strength.
It's the fastest Category 5 hurricane ever, allegedly recorded in history to form that fast. And I was saying about that country when I was reading some comments online, coming from the people there saying it feels like Ivan. It feels even worse than Ivan. And that just put a shudder through my body.
Well, I think it's a really good point. And I mean, again, going back to climate change, it's not just about climate change, it's about development. So when you've got, you know, we all experienced Ivan 20 years ago, and again, Irma and Maria and so forth, Dorian over the last few years. Cayman today is a very different Cayman than what it was 20 years ago. And with the development, obviously, a lot of the areas are impacted by that. So the low-lying areas that have been there for years and years and years before that are now going to be more impacted by the runoff, because, of course, with the higher building requirements. So it's these kind of things to bear in mind. You can't anchor yourself to a situation, because, again, chances are it's going to be a very different scenario. But yeah, Ivan again is still very, very, very close in so many people's minds.
Yeah, it's that's what it's being compared to. So I think that shudder when it hits me, I'm kind of like, okay, I came here the year after Ivan, and so I only saw really the devastation of what Ivan brought. And I came here 10 months later, and it was still pretty devastating for me to see what was Grand Cayman. So when I read those comparisons, I'm definitely very worried. I know I'm not alone. I know that there's still things that we can do to prepare. And Danny, you just gave a whole bunch of information out. Remember, caymanprepare.ky if you need to figure out kind of what you need to get in terms of lists, how to prepare your family, your home, your pets, just how to be a good neighbor when it comes down to it as well. There's a whole lot of information there. But I think it's just that comparison to this hurricane being possibly as bad as Ivan, or maybe even worse. I know that, Gilbert, you were sharing that from what the models are showing, Beryl does look like she's going to decrease in strength a little bit, but we don't know. That could change. Yeah. It could also shift a little bit, right? So I always thought we were part of the cone. Danny, I know you said that it's
Sister Islands, yeah. We were on the cusp for some time over the last few days.
So now, I guess from our last weather update, it's just the Sister Islands that look to be?
Have now been included.
Have now been included.
Yeah, so all 3 islands really are in the actual cone.
I do want to say though, like people that do remember Ivan, this should be added fuel to getting prepared. I mean, we should, without being anxious and calmly, and just go through your supplies, make sure you have what you need to have, make sure you have a plan, go to Cayman prepared, follow the official sites, and stay informed from the official sources that, you know, even if it does jog, even if it does weaken, even if it, whatever it does, we are prepared for it. I mean, Danny has all the resources there, and I don't know how she's still awake. She's coordinating with everybody. She's doing an amazing job there.
Coffee.
And Red Bull.
And Red Bull. But this should be a added incentive to get ready.
It is, and I think that's a really good point. But I also think people need to be looking after their own mental health right now, and really be focusing on a bit of time out, making sure you're doing a few things over the next day and a half to calm yourself, to breathing exercises, yoga class, whatever it is you need to do to get grounded and be ready for this. Get some rest, get some good nutritious food in, because of course, you know, if by chance we have issues with electricity, you don't want to be eating out of canned tins. We've all had that experience before, and you know, it's just making sure that you have a bit of time just to breathe and don't get too anxious. We do have a really good a helpline, a mental health helpline called K-Mind, who are very much part of the National Emergency Operations Centre. And actually, one of the reasons we have that in place under the structure of the National Emergency Operations Centre is because we've realised over the years that mental health is such an important part of any emergency. So I know we got together a good few years ago with Miss Dipna Carter, and she's been brilliant instigating that. And that's open all the time, as in, again, it's open all year round. But of course, during emergencies, we up those hours and so forth. So, you know, if you do need help, please be reaching out to, there's a number of different reliable sources, you know, AXPANT and a number of different places you can ask for help. But the help is very much there. And again, you know, really encouraging the community to come forward and help each other, because I think a lot of this, we're all in this together at the end of the day. And I think it's really important, you know, we try and get as prepared as possible. We are helping each other get prepared, in that if someone, your neighbour, needs help with tarpaulin or, you know, boarding up something or sandbags, whatever it looks like, you know, we're much better in numbers to help each other. So really, let's help each other get rid of the anxiety and work together.
When people are reaching out to hazard management during the emergencies happening, what are they usually generally asking you for?
So we have, obviously, the National Emergency Operations Centre will be, so hazard management kind of morphs into the national structure. We coordinate that structure. During an activation, often it's things like evacuations. We have a lot of that. Even in the last month, we've had that happen twice as far as activation goes for evacuation. A lot of the times it'll be from shelters, issues in the shelter, flooding in roads, a number of different things. Again, we have the call centre that'll be opening, I suspect, tomorrow morning or tomorrow lunchtime. And that in itself will field all the calls. So if they're non-emergency calls, I say, you know, obviously emergency calls go to 911, life-threatening calls, but anything relating to the emergency will be diverted to the call centre, National Emergency Operations Centre call centre. And again, that's very much, we task all the activities in the NEOC around that. So, you know, things about evacuation, it might be, you know, all sorts of things. It's such the phones ring quite frequently, obviously, during activation, and we just have to respond accordingly with all the agencies in the room together.
People do call Radio Cayman as well for evacuations. Yeah. I would remember during, I think it was Paloma, when it hit the sister islands pretty bad, people were calling us nonstop and just to get word out, and somebody stuck here, somebody stuck there. And it's pretty amazing to me how networked we are in Cayman.
Yeah.
To try to help each other out however we can, and that's just part of the that strong community feeling that the Cayman has. That
absolutely
don't ever want to lose that feeling and that network. It's just so important for us to all to survive and make it through.
Absolutely, 100%. And just going back to that number again, it's active all the time now because of what we've had to deal with over the last few weeks. Mm-hmm. And that number is 949-6555. It'll be shared very, very widely, or it's been shared very widely over the internet, social media pages and so forth. But again, that's for, you know, the call centre, you know, people who need assistance. But again,
NEOC.
NEOC, yeah, National Emergency Operations Centre. It goes directly to our duty officer right now at Hazard Management. But we're really strongly encouraging people to try and be as self-sufficient as possible and really get ready for the storm, because again, it's coming either way. And, you know, it depends on what the damage will be, will depend on how well we're prepared around this.
I would say so. Gilbert, do you want to add to that?
No, everything she said, I want to second. I mean, it's all about preparedness. We're there to track information and give her the latest updates so that we can prepare the island and people can prepare themselves accordingly. And that's our role to play in this. And we're there 24/7. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we're joined at the hip these days. I've spent a lot of time with my friends from the weather service recently. Again, one just kind of plug from us. Again, it's sheltering. It's like, please make sure you know where you're going to shelter tomorrow and the next day, because that's going to be really, really important part of your plan. Really, really important.
And if you don't know, you can go to caymanprepared.ky. There is a section just for shelters, a map that shows where all the shelters are, all the information for the shelters, which shelters are pet friendly as well, which is important if you're taking your part of your fur family with you to a shelter. You need to know that information.
Exactly, and those shelters are John Gray and Clifton Hunter. But just a caveat, obviously the shelter list is very vast. We will be making decisions today as to which shelters we open. If the threat warrants it, it'll be all of them. But I think at this stage it's probably more likely to be a one per district, and that triage is already in place. But we just got to figure out what the threat is by the next few forecasts as to what that looks like. But the teams are ready to go, the shelter teams as well as the regiment who are assisting us with that. And again, those things can be set up very, very quickly with our help, as well also from surge supplies from Foster's.
Okay, awesome. We got to go to a break right now. I know that you've got to run off to another interview again, Danny. You've got maybe a minute if you want to leave any lasting words with people, anything that you want our listening audience to really know. I'm really implore you to be ready for the storm. No matter what happens over the next few days, we're going to get some serious rain, and I just want to make sure everyone's looking out for each other. If you have not downloaded the National Emergency Notification app, we're really encouraging you to do that. Obviously, we alert people every time there's a phase difference, so from the alert to the watch, the warning, and so forth. And that's neens.gov.ky. Again, if something happens in the middle of the night, if by chance we have a massive rapid intensification, sorry, I'm losing my voice already. Right. If we have a rapid intensification, for example, then you'll have a very loud alert. And we use that also for things like earthquakes and so forth. But again, it won't be bombarding you unless it's going to be the critical life-saving information that you need on the loud alert. But the soft tone will be literally, this is a change. We're going now to a watch, to a warning, to so forth. One of those few notifications you'll really actually need in your life.
Absolutely. It could change your life. It could save your life. It could save your family's life. So please download that. And again, all that information's all over our social media pages and our website. It's called neens.gov.ky.
All right. Thank you so much. Gilbert as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Business Buzz and getting the information out there.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. We're going to go to a commercial break, and then we might be back with more. We'll see.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Investing in our children's academic success and future career is a no-brainer. Isn't it time we stop with the excuses? With 100% Math, you can take charge now. There's no reason for your children to fall behind in math again. Since 2011, 100% Math has prepared students for exams in IB, HL, SL Math, and CSEC and enrichment programs for gifted students. Visit 100%math.com or call or WhatsApp 547-9817. That's 547-9817. No more excuses. Set your child up for success today with 100% Math.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, Low Cayman, Cayman Brac. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The Cayman Islands are under hurricane watch as Category 5 storm Beryl continues moving west-northwest. At 7 a.m., the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, issued its advisory showing that the eye of Hurricane Beryl was located near 15.0 degrees north, 67.9 degrees west. It's moving towards the west-northwest near 22 miles per hour and is forecast to move rapidly west-northwestward during the next couple of days and then turn west by Thursday. On the forecast track, the center will move quickly across the southeastern and central Caribbean Sea today and is forecast to pass near Jamaica on Wednesday and Cayman on Thursday. Now, due to Hurricane Beryl, the Water Authority's Grand Cayman and Customer Service Office in Cayman Brac will be closed to the public today for storm preparations. The Water Authority is reminding you to make sure you have enough water stored for drinking and non-drinking purposes. Depending on the forecasted path and predicted severity of the storm, it may be necessary for the authority to temporarily interrupt water service in order to protect the storage reserves for restoration. If this is necessary, the authority says it will give as much notice as possible once a decision has made. So make sure to keep it locked right here to Radio Cayman as we bring you all of the latest information regarding Hurricane Beryl. I'm Carsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller. Business Buzz.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. We can go on a little longer. That's if you guys want to call in, if you want to talk, if you want to let us know what is on your mind, especially as it pertains to Hurricane Beryl, which is right now a Category 5 hurricane. The numbers to call are 949-6990, 949-8037. You can WhatsApp us at 925-3261 or 1-800-534-8255. There is the toll-free number as well. So a lot to think about. We had this morning on the Business Buzz, we had Troy Worms, the Director for Public Works. He was letting us know that for the past couple of days, Public Works have been at it trying to board up and secure all the different government buildings and facilities and the different places that government is in partnership with as well, in order to ensure that people are going to be safe. The government buildings and facilities will be protected at least to the best of their ability. And Troy did share that they did this exercise. Public Works did this exercise in May earlier this year. And in just 4 hours and 23 minutes, I think it was, they managed to get everything shuttered and secure. So, of course, that was an emergency exercise that they're preparing for. So they're taking their time right now, and then they'll be able to utilize or lend their hands, I should say, to help with other departments, whoever may need the assistance of Public Works to get some things done. They are here to help as well. So Troy came on earlier, letting us know what's going on, and then following Troy's visit, we had Gilbert Miller, who's the senior weather forecaster, and we had Danielle Coleman. She's the director for hazard management. Gilbert and Danielle were in here giving us a little bit of a weather update when it came to the storm, the projected path of the storm, the conditions that we hope will cause Beryl to weaken a little bit, because she's a Category 5 hurricane right now, about to hit Jamaica in the next 24 hours. And then Cayman Islands is in that cone path. The storm is headed west-northwest at 22 miles per hour. The 7 a.m. update said that the storm was 625 miles east-southeast of Kingston, Jamaica, and 938 miles east-southeast of Grand Cayman. There should be another weather update by, I'm going to say 10 a.m. I think there's another one that comes in from the National Hurricane Center. So the coordinates right now for that storm, the latitude is 15.0 north, longitude is 67.9 west. And as I said, the location is 625 miles east-southeast of Kingston, Jamaica, and 938 miles east-southeast of Grand Cayman. It's moving to the west-northwest at 22 miles per hour, and the maximum sustained winds are 165 miles per hour. That's 165 miles per hour. And all I can say is that we are under a hurricane watch. Right now, we are expected to have something hit us in the early hours of Thursday morning. I believe when our senior weather forecaster, Gilbert Miller, was here, I think he said around 5 a.m. on Thursday, maybe a little earlier than that, we could expect to feel the worst of Hurricane Beryl, or the most intense part of Hurricane Beryl is when we should be expecting to feel that. So around 5 a.m.-ish on Thursday morning. So you have time, Cayman. You have a little bit of time to prepare. And remember, if you want to give me a call, let me know what's going on in your neighborhood. Let us know what the issues are. Let us know where you might need some help, how help can be provided, all that good stuff. It's all about a community and helping each other out when we're going through the worst of times. Remember, the numbers to call are 949-6990, 949-8037. You can WhatsApp your thoughts or give us a call on WhatsApp at 925-3261. Or you can call 1-800-534-8255. I know that yesterday we got a whole lot of calls at For the Record when OC had an impromptu For the Record show, which was definitely needed because we had a lot of members of Parliament join us on the show yesterday to talk about what they were doing in each of their districts, what was going on, especially when it came to sandbags and plywood and the dissemination of plywood and how people could get that. There was so much information being shared, and I'm very thankful to all of our MPs, the ones who could join us and give an update and let people know what to expect, where help could be found, how they could be helped out with their preparations. I really liked hearing that from our members of Parliament yesterday, and hoping they'll be able to do the same throughout today and possibly tomorrow. We do have a question that came in via WhatsApp, and it says, "Good morning. Do we know what category the Cayman Islands will be experiencing the hurricane? I know it's now a Cat 5, but hopefully it won't be that when it reaches here. Thank you." We do not know the category that the storm will hit us. As mentioned, it is a Category 5 hurricane right now, expected to hit Jamaica, I believe, at a Cat 5. However, It is expected, according to some models, that the senior weather forecaster Gilbert Miller was sharing. So the models have the hurricane as a weakening for sure when it reaches, or hopefully when it reaches the Cayman Islands. And that is because of cooler waters and I think he said, less share space. Is it less share or more share space? Gilbert, you might have to call back and let me know about that. But there's something about the share space, which he had broke down a little earlier in the show, and the temperature of the water, which they expect to be a little cooler. So it is expected that the hurricane will be definitely not a Category 5, but that it's expected that it will be weaker. But there's no guarantees either. You never know what could happen. You just never know with nature. So hopefully it doesn't hit us at a 5, but that's what we know so far. We do have a caller online. Let us take the first call. Good morning. Thanks for calling the Business Buzz. Hello. Good morning. Oh, I don't know what happened to the caller. I think we have a few more calls. That's what Paul said. So hopefully one of the callers will come through. I think we have the callers there or the caller is not there. We shall see. You can always try calling back. 949-6990, 949-8037. You can WhatsApp us at 925-3261, or you can try calling us on 1-800-534-8255. Sorry, caller. We don't know what happened to your attempt there a couple minutes ago. Oh, and I locked myself out of the WhatsApp. Great. All right. So to the person who did WhatsApp us the question, hopefully I gave you somewhat of a good answer. We do not know the category of the storm that will hit us. I hope it's not a Category 5. The models are not showing it to be a Category 5. All right, we're going to restart the phone system. So if you are calling, I think somebody's calling right now. But if you are calling, just give us a minute because we have to restart something with the phones. So we're going to see what happened there. I do believe we do have another caller that just came in. Now, Danielle, Director of Hazard Management, was also saying that if you go to the CaymanPrepared.ky website, you'll see all the information you need to be prepared. And I might actually return to that point because I believe we might have a caller on. Paul hasn't fixed the phone systems as yet, so hopefully the caller's there and it's working. Good morning. Thank you for calling the Business Buzz.
Good morning, Miss Kathy.
Hi, how are you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
Are you feel ready?
I heard you say. Well, I don't want to say that you say it for sure, but did you? Is it a fact? Well, are we expecting to be hit by hurricane this week?
Yes. So far, as the weather updates are showing, the Cayman Islands is in the cone. All 3 islands are in the cone. And Danielle Coleman, the Director for Hazard Management, confirmed that when she was on air this morning. So if we're within that cone structure, then we are expected to be hit.
Yeah, I see it on the satellite map. Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, let me tell you.
But hopefully not at a Category 5.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, we're like I said, we're in the Caribbean. We always got to be in survival mode. You know, we got I mean, we got to deal with things a lot more different, I believe, in certain areas.
In certain areas, what do you mean?
I mean, for example, you know, when you're just thinking about being happy and only enjoying yourself, you enjoy yourself, but you think about the storm. You know, June 1st or July, whatever, hurricane season up until November. You keep it on your mind and you adjust yourself and be more prepared instead of just responding immediately when you hear that the storm is going to come. You got to expect it every year. You got to expect it every year. So you got to live like that. You know, we got to live that kind of way. You know, that's like living in a country that has volcanoes. You know, you got to they got to adjust their lives to that sort of living. So we got to I mean, the politicians don't have all the answers, you know.
Oh, definitely not. But, you know, they're doing the best that they can with the information that we do have.
Yeah, they do a good job, but they don't have all the answers. And I can tell you from experience, you see them tribes people,
mm-hmm.
They pretty good at survival too. You know, you got to stick close to them, but them tribes people, the people from them tribes and stuff, they know some good things about some good strategies for survival and stuff and storms and things like that.
Right, but that's also the part of the environment that they've that they live in, that they choose to stay in, and to kind of dominate in that sense, to know.
Yeah, survival. It's all about survival. That sort of thing. What I'm talking about, you know.
And the thing is, at least with this storm right now, it hasn't just crept up on us, and it hasn't just turned all of a sudden from a projected path for days to all of a sudden coming to us within 24 hours or less. You know, we have had this information almost for the past week. We know that some storms were forming. For the past 5 days at least, we've been pretty heavy with circulating information. And you know that. You don't have to be on the radio or, you know, going through your phone. You'll just hear it amongst your friends, like, oh, there's a storm coming or a couple storms on the horizon. So at least we have the benefit of receiving this information in a way more timely manner, which allows us to get better prepared. I would hope that some of us or most of us are mostly prepared for when these storms do happen, because we know every year we're going to get them. You'd said that, right?
Every year.
I think we've just been pretty blessed over the past few years not to have something really catastrophic hit us. And, I hope that blessing continues. I hope nothing really catastrophic hits Cayman.
Yeah, but, you know, that's what we're talking to Sterling on the radio about. We always got to expect it. We have to expect it. We got to prepare for it. We got to set our minds on it. And some people might say, oh, no, I don't believe it's going to come, you know, and then they don't prepare for it. That's like before Ivan, you know, people say that to me too.
Have you prepared for this one?
Well,
or been
I was
prepared?
a scout, you know. I was a scout, and like I said, tell them I used to march with the veterans, and I believe in survival, and I believe in going down to the lowest levels to survive. You know what I'm saying?
I was just going to say, what do you mean by the lowest levels to survive?
Well, I'll be honest with you. You know, I don't have to have propane, and I don't have to have electrical stove. I'll just like a friend of mine just told me on the phone. Take the wood, the dry wood that I got outside, put it inside, and make sure that the rain don't wet it. And if I don't have propane or if I don't have electricity, I chop the wood up and put my pot under it and in between two blocks, and that's it, and cook my food.
All right, we know where we're coming for dinner then, if we need to, if it comes down to that. But if you're prepared, or you think you're prepared, do you also try to lend your support within your community? If people
grew up like that. You know, we grew up like that. I tell you, I was a scout, and we used to learn. Just we had good homes to live in. But we would go and try to survive in the bush and try to live for days and stuff like that, and just live off the trees, live off the vegetables and different things like that, you know, and that's what you need to do. Because I remember in Ivan, I mean, you could hardly. It wasn't an easy thing getting a coconut. Some blew off the tree, but it's a lot of different ways to survive. You know, Mr. O.C. can share some words because I think he was in the scouting thing too. We need to learn. We need to share that some more on this island. Survival tactics. You know, that sort of thing. And instead of just being at ease all the time as a scout, they taught us to be at ease and at ease and attention. But you can't be at ease all the time. You got to be at attention sometimes too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
And, you know, you got to be prepared and have the necessary tools and stuff. And almost like what I was telling the gentleman on the radio again about the learning to survive like tribes. You know those little series that they have on the TV?
Yeah.
Learning to survive in the bush, you know, and stuff like that. Even though they come from good homes, they learn that, you know, just in case, you know, things like that. They got a lot of good experienced people in Cayman that can share good words and knowledge, and they need to have them in the shelters. They need to position these good knowledgeable people in the shelters that they can teach the people, and you got to have counselors there and all that to comfort the people and in the shelters. Sorry about that. Sorry,
Yeah, no worries at all.
You know what I'm saying? You got to, and then your people will be, you know, getting the cold. Some people going to catch the cold, and then you can't say that the shelter is 100% secure. It could be, you know, you could have a fault with the shelter as well, and with the roof or something like that. So you have to have alternative plans. Because every other couple of years, the leadership changes, and some good experienced people, some of them die out, and some not hired in their jobs, so some not positioned to help the people and to share knowledge with them. So they got to find these people and put them in the shelters to guide the people through the storms.
You know, I think they're getting to that because each shelter has like a shelter manager, and you have you kind of have your subcommittees, you could say, within your shelters. So you do have a network of people that are trying to lead and be that, you know, kind of be the resource that you go to within the shelter. And I haven't been to a hurricane shelter on island, so I can't speak from experience there. But I would like to think that there is some sort of organization going on, whether it's somebody that can talk to a group of people to calm them down, whether it's certain kind of games or activities going on with kids. I'm sure that there's some sort of a organized madness that goes on during that time. Yeah. And you know, at the same time, it's also really hard to plan on keeping a shelter in complete order because it's a chaotic time, and you never know how people are going to react, and have to expect, okay, yes, people will get sick within a shelter. You know, small things will happen, small incidences will happen, but how are we best going to navigate when it does happen? You know, I'm sure that there's definitely plans and certain procedures in place for if things go awry or a little haywire. But I think that our government, and especially hazard management, and what they try to do when it comes to storms, when it comes to sheltering down and people getting prepared, that they really do an excellent job in getting the information out. And we're still learning, right? I think we've come such a long way from understanding what happened in the Cayman Islands during Ivan and to where we are now. And there's still so much more growth to be had.
Yeah, and then I remember another thing that happened after Ivan too, you know, that affected a lot of people mentally, emotionally, and stuff like that. So you got to people got to be prepared and different ways, and I'm sure they'll have medical staff there and people to comfort the people and to counsel them and stuff, because it's a terrible time when you lose your home, you're homeless, like I was telling the gentleman. If that happens, that's a terrible thing. I'm telling you, let me tell you, when you lose your home, it affects your mind terribly, man. I remember I was talking to a lot of people up in the shelter, and this lady, she was telling me she was a rich woman, and she was showing me what happened to her house and her car and everything else, and I tried to speak to her and make her feel a little comfortable and stuff like that. But it can affect you really terribly, man, and stuff, So I don't know. Like I said, we live in the Caribbean, and we always got to be in this survival mode all the time, and expect the unexpected. When it concerns hurricanes and that sort of thing, and.
Yeah, I agree. Expect the unexpected for sure. And I think you make a good point. Because you seem to be somebody who listens. So if you know there's people out there that you can go talk to, maybe some elderly people in your community, even some younger people that might be having some anxiety or just need somebody to talk to right now, understand the strength that you are and the relief that you might be able to provide them. And especially just in this next day, if you go around and say, hey, need to chat about anything, need a hand with anything, you never know how that just might be an added source of comfort for people to get through Hurricane Beryl as she's coming towards us in the next couple of days. We got to go to a commercial break right now. Thank you so much for your call.
Okay,
for sharing with us. You keep tuned in, okay?
All right, man.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
For the past 10 years, Health City Cayman Islands has been providing a comprehensive range of in-house medical services, from routine care to highly complex surgeries. We've transformed healthcare in the region, saving thousands of lives in the process. Recognized for quality and excellence, Health City brings together expert doctors, the best technology, and the latest techniques to provide world-class healthcare to those who need it. Health City Cayman Islands, a decade of healing.
The next planned Cayman public consultation meeting is going to be taking place today, Thursday, July 4th, from 7 until 9 p.m. at the Edna Moyle Primary School in Northside. This may be preempted. Tune into Radio Cayman as we broadcast the planned Cayman public consultation live from 7 p.m. The consult will focus on the 2024 draft planning statement. View the planning statement at www.plan.cayman.ky and share your feedback on this Thursday's public meeting at the Edna Moyle Primary School in Northside. Will be carried live on Radio Cayman, but not sure this may be preempted. Keep it right here on Radio Cayman for more.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station. Your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office remind all students traveling to and from school overseas to ensure their passports are valid for both travel and entry into their destination country. Passports should be renewed at least 10 weeks before departure, and any necessary student visas must be obtained. For passport services, contact the Passport and Corporate Services Office at 649-7678. For Ministry of Education scholarship inquiries, contact scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. We are talking about Hurricane Beryl, currently a Category 5 hurricane. We should have a next weather update coming in just after 10 a.m. as released by the National Hurricane Center. And we do have a statement from the Premier to be playing for you guys rather shortly. If you missed it during our 8 a.m. news, we will replay it within this next half hour for you as well. And I understand that Acting Deputy Governor Eric Bush, in his capacity as acting chairman of the National Hazard Management Council, has placed the Cayman Islands under a hurricane watch as of 4 a.m. this morning. He also has put out a statement which can be found on YouTube. I don't know exactly where on YouTube, but maybe if you just go to gov.ky, or if you go to the Cayman Islands government page on YouTube, you might be able to find it there. A lot going on. I'm going to give you that information again for Hurricane Beryl. The coordinates are latitude 15.0 north, longitude 67.9 west. Location is 625 miles east-southeast of Kingston, Jamaica, and 938 miles east-southeast of Grand Cayman. The movement is to the west-northwest at 22 miles per hour, and the maximum sustained winds are 165 miles per hour. All three islands, Grand, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman, we are in the cone for Hurricane Beryl. We had senior weather forecaster Gilbert Miller on earlier this morning, and he was saying that although Hurricane Beryl is currently a Category 5 storm, that it is looking to weaken once it begins to reach the Cayman Islands. So it is hopefully not expected to be a Category 5 storm as it reaches Cayman, and he explained this has to do with the Cher and the cooler water temperatures closer to the Cayman Islands. So he's hoping those conditions will weaken Beryl, as Beryl is right now on her way to reach Jamaica, and it's a Category 5 in Cheryl's path currently. So the next weather information is coming in around 10 a.m. Remember that if you do want to give us a call, the numbers to call are 949-6990, 949-8037. You can WhatsApp us at 925-3261. You can call us as well toll free, 1-800-534-8255. I think OC sent me a message saying to speak a bit more clearly or project my voice, so I'm trying just for you, OC. My bad. Sometimes I only speak so I can hear myself, so that doesn't help anybody, does it? But yes, trying to speak a little bit more, with a bit more projection out there for you, make it a little bit easier. There is a message that did come. He said much better. Thanks, OC. There's a message that did come in from somebody else via WhatsApp, and showed us a picture of a drain on Raven Avenue filled with water. Raven Avenue, and that was this morning about 9:15 a.m. The person had sent the photo, so I'm not sure how much can be done in terms of clearing drains. I know Danielle Coleman had spoken about that a little bit earlier. So I believe, there is work being done. If you can help, if you can get out there in your neighborhood and do what you can, if your home, that is prepared, you feel you're prepared, everything on your end is good, you've lent a hand to your neighbors, and there's other things you can do within your community, within your neighborhood to help prepare your neighborhood. That might include gathering some garbage together, helping with tree trimmings, helping to clear any drains that are out there. However you can manage to help, it'll make the cleanup a lot easier, because we are going to be hit by a storm. We just don't know the category of the storm. We don't know how hard the impact of that hit will leave us with. So I don't think none of us want to know how hard that impact is going to be if it does veer or steer any more towards the north for the Cayman Islands. So right now it's the west-northwest projection at 22 miles per hour. So hopefully the storm does stay on that path. But we know, and as you all remember, those who were here from Ivan a good almost 20 years ago, 19 years ago, you remember that storm just all of a sudden completely changed direction, and boom, Cayman was in it. So we don't want to think, okay, we're outside of a cone, or we're just on the edge of a cone, we'll be all right. No, do not ease up. We saw just the effects of a tropical storm last year, what it did to Cayman. just a tropical storm. Earlier this month, it wasn't even a tropical storm, and places in Cayman are still dealing with the flooding that's going on with how saturated the ground is, and that is also going to be impacting us in the Cayman Islands again, because the grounds are already very heavily saturated from the rainfall that we have been having over the past few weeks. So that's going to make the conditions even a little bit worse for at least Grand Cayman. So, in knowing all of that, we have some people that are trying to call in. I think some ministers have been asking if they can give us a call. There was some information that I've been asked to share with you all, so I will be doing that. We do know that there is a hurricane watch for the Cayman Islands, and this was placed at about 4 a.m. this morning. The Cayman Islands went under a hurricane watch. And what does this mean? Well, a hurricane watch means that hurricane conditions such as strong winds, heavy rainfall, and dangerous storm surges are likely to happen within the next 48 hours. Residents are urged to remain vigilant, stay informed through official government channels, and take necessary precautions to ensure their safety. Key preparedness tips include having an emergency kit. Assemble an emergency kit that includes water, non-perishable food, medications, important documents, batteries, flashlights, and other essentials. Secure property. Bring outdoor furniture decorations and garbage cans inside. Secure windows and doors. So that's just some of the stuff you can do. I talked about the tree trimming. It was mentioned earlier, if you have some mango trees bearing lots of mangoes right now, you got to cut those mangoes down, and don't cut the branches completely off, but just trim them enough to the point where you think it's going to be pretty stable, pretty safe for that tree. And don't worry, that tree will bear fruit again. We're going to have another mango season, but get down what you can get down right now, just to make sure that we're going to be, a little safer to our neighbors and to our own homes. So there's a tree trimming of that going on. The little patio furniture, I know I have some of it to take inside still, so just take that stuff inside. Any of the loose knickknacks that you might have around your yard or your kind of outdoor backyard areas or spaces, to try to clean that up as much as you can. Bring it inside. I know me, when I was at the supermarket yesterday, they didn't have the batteries that I had wanted. I just turned up and was like, out of the 20 batteries I have at home, something has to be working. No, none of them work. I still have to go get batteries today. Why do I have so many flashlights and not enough batteries? I can't be the only one going through this. So that definitely has to be something I got to study for myself. And there's so much you can do out there to get prepared. And again, there's a whole bunch of information when we go to caymanprepared.ky. Danielle had mentioned that not all of the shelters will be open. So I guess we will know when it comes down to it. They will be, hazard management or the NEOC will be giving us the information on the shelters, all of the shelters, if they're going to open, what's going to happen, when you can get to them. So always know where the shelters are in your districts, in your areas. So for Georgetown, we have the John Gray High School Gymnasium. We have Georgetown Primary School Assembly Hall, the Red Cross Building, UCCI, and Prospect Primary School. So those are your different shelters. That's for Georgetown. For Boddentown, you have Boddentown Primary School, the multipurpose hall there. In West Bay, you have the John A. Cumber Primary School Assembly Hall, John Gray Memorial Church Hall, John A. Cumber Primary School. In East End, you have the William Allen McLaughlin Civic Center and the Gun Bay Community Hall. In Breakers, you have Breakers Community Hall. Savannah Primary School Assembly Hall. Northside, the Craddock Ebanks Civic Center. The Clifton Hunter High School Gymnasium. In Cayman Brac, there's the Aston Ruddy Civic Center. There's West End Primary School and the Multipurpose Hall, which is at the Sports Complex. And Little Cayman, there is the Public Works Department. So there is a bunch of different shelters, and make sure that if you are going to the shelter, that you have all your emergency documents, that you have your medication as needed, that you're going to animal-friendly shelter if you do have any pets. Really that you have all that you need, because people at the shelter are going to have to ID you if for some reason you're not able to ID yourself. You're going to need your meds because there might be a circumstance where you can't make it home. Hopefully not, but perhaps your home is not accessible, and you can't get your medicine anymore, or you're not able to access from the doctors. So if you need to get those refills in, make sure you're getting those refills in today, and that you have your medication on hand as needed. So I think that's some information right there, just to keep in top of the mind. You know where your shelters are. You know what's needed for the shelters. You know you still have time to go to your supermarkets, to your gas stations, to your home and hardware stores, get whatever you might need. There's areas that you can fill for sandbags. You have to check out the different government social media channels, Radio Cayman's channel included, Cayman Prepared. Check out the different channels to see little bits of information as they're coming. These are your official government channels and news channels as they relay the information needed. The number to call for the NEOC if you're having an emergency. Now, these are for emergency evacuations, emergencies with people. 949-6555. Again, that number is 949-6555. There's so many resources of information. Remember, you have your friends, you have your family, you have your coworkers. If you are done in all of your prep, check on your friends, check on your coworkers, check on your family. Make sure that they're also done, and see where they may need a hand. Some of us, like me, are procrastinators, and we wait to the last minute to do things. So if that's you, and DJ Lynn just pointed at himself and said, that's me too. So both Lynn and I are very high in procrastination. There's something about that last minute rush, but there's nothing about a last minute rush that you got to enjoy with preparing for a hurricane. So get it done as you can, and then use that time to help out others where they may need their help as well. We have to go to a commercial break right now, and we might have somebody on the line to talk to us after the commercial break, but we've got to go to a commercial break right now.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I believe we have on call, we have Minister Seymour on the phone with us to talk to us about this hurricane preparations for Hurricane Beryl. Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning, Kathy. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm fine. Just here, still trying to help the residents of Bordentown East prepare, and the Cayman Islands on a whole. This is something that we fear every year around this time. Not this early, but I guess that's what has everyone in a frantic, in a panic. And because it's come so early, normally we don't get June hurricanes. And I'm trying to do whatever I can to to help the citizens of Bordentown East be as prepared as possible. Some of the things we're doing is we're affording some persons with plywood at a limited amount, and we ordered more again today, and that looks to be finished already. And we're handing out sandbags, and we bought the sandwiches on Anton Borden. You can't miss it. People are taking it serious, and I hope that everyone else who weren't paying attention, because sometimes people are working and not really paying attention to the radio or looking at social media, and they miss it,
Right.
And, I hope that this is another medium that we can, reach other persons, and we ask other persons, if you have a neighbor and you don't see them doing anything at all, just reach out to them and kind of prompt them, hurricane is coming, because there are some people that won't know. Of course, we would expect that everyone would know, but, there's, for some reason, some people may not know. Their phone may be down or something. Never know. Mm-hmm.
Some people just live in their own world in the sense of, I heard something, but they don't really pay it a whole lot of mind. So it's those people that we really got to check on as well.
Yeah, definitely so. And I think some people, they live on some old fallacies that of the past, in terms of it's going to Jamaica, so the Blue Mountains are high. So that's going to mash it up, and it's not going to really hit Cayman that hard. You never know what's going to happen. Never know how it's going to dodge around Jamaica, dodge around those mountains, whatever it is, and come straight to us or otherwise. But what I'm going to say to people is that if it doesn't come to us directly, if we don't get a direct impact, we're going to get something. And, we've seen in the past where Category 1 or even tropical storm winds were so damaging to us. We thought it was a Category 4 or something.
Right.
So I want people to really take this one serious. It's different. It's historic. And we don't want to be playing around with stuff that no one knows the reason why it's coming so early. So, I want everyone to listen to the radios and the chats and everything else to see when road closures are, when persons are supposed to be off the road. Obviously people are out shopping and doing some other stuff, trying some last minute button up, as the old people would say, boarding up. But try to get those things out of the way. What I'd heard last was that they'd hoped that everyone would have all their business done by 8 a.m. on Wednesday. But I don't know if that will change, because we have a caucus meeting today, an emergency extraordinary caucus, and we also have a meeting with the hazard management for the final preparations of hurricane peril. So definitely encouraging persons to keep their phones on, and I encourage all MPs to send out messages to their chat groups and to persons in their constituencies, as they get the updates from hazard management or otherwise, because some persons might be on some chats,
Right.
Yeah.
So if people, you're for Bordentown East, so if people are trying to get in touch with you or your constituency office, what is the information that you can provide? Is there anybody there for your constituents to reach out to currently, that if they might need any help with anything?
Yeah, the office number, our office is off of Anton Borden, it's in the plaza with the pharmacy, the Bordentown Pharmacy on Anton Borden Road. My office is in that same plaza. The number is 945-3281. That's the office number there. And you can probably get them from 10 a.m. onwards. But obviously they're working also off-site at times, handing out plywood and trying to attend to persons' needs, the elderly and so forth, checking on them to ensure that someone has. And we have been sending persons to elderly persons home who don't have anyone else to assist them in boarding up or putting their shutters up.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
What's the overall feeling in in your area? Now, I know you said that people are getting prepared and they seem on top of it, but the overall feeling to the storm coming, are people kind of prepared for the worst here? Do they think it's going to be okay, or?
Yes, today everybody thought, it would be okay. But now today what I'm hearing is people saying, this is serious. I mean, people were up very early this morning. I mean, I woke up to chats at 4:00 this morning and messages from hazard management and so forth. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get this out. This is serious. And people now are taking it more serious and saying, you know what, we're really going to get something. We're going to get something. Because sometimes we dodge it, and everybody's hoping for this wind shear to push it further south. And now that hasn't happened, so everybody's really, really concerned now. And, they're bracing for the worst. People are checking out shelters and so forth, just in case,
Right. Yeah. Better know. And so for you, I asked about your people. Now, what about you? What's your overall feeling?
Well, I never felt nervous in a long time, and I actually feel nervous about this one because it's so big, it's so unpredictable, it's moving left and right. It started off so small. When the hurricanes are small, they're unpredictable. They don't really keep a straight line. The larger they are, the more predictable they are, as I understand it. And this one really scares me, and I really don't know what to make of it. I'm really scared, not necessarily for me. I've been through a couple of them from Gilbert, but my children, and other smaller children, I know the trauma that this puts them in terms of it lasts a very long time. I remember my daughter in Hurricane Ivan. She was only 16 months old, a year old, and she wouldn't go near a window for like 3 or 4 years.
Wow!
After that, because the pounding of the wind on the window and just things hitting it, it left her scared of windows. Can you imagine?
Yeah, no, I can.
And she's 21 now, and she still talks about that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's the scar that it leaves on children, and we really need to ensure that after the hurricane, whether it's in schools or otherwise, that we get some counseling for the kids and don't just think that they thought it was a nice little breeze that blew through, but they're actually affected by it. I really thank you for your time and allowing me to address my constituents and try to give out some information as to what I think that they can do to be safe. But obviously, if people need to know the area they're in, if they're in a low-lying area, then they need to find somewhere else to park their cars and so forth. They really need to think about their plan. I mean, families should sit down, take a little 15 minutes and just put a little plan together, a food plan, a vehicle plan, a button-up plan, and an escape plan, just in case.
Right.
So that's my suggestion.
All right. Thank you so much for calling us this morning and chatting with us.
Yes, I really appreciate you calling.
Yeah, no problem. We appreciate it. I'm sure your constituents especially are grateful to hear from you. Everybody in Cayman, we're grateful to hear from you, to know what you're doing to prepare in Bontown East, and what the rest of the island can do to prepare, and just the words of wisdom there, especially when it comes to preparing your children and kind of having an extra eye out for them as well, and the trauma that they endure when going through these experiences. So it's not a pretty thing to go through, and the more that we can be there for them and tell them not just toughen up, because how's anybody supposed to expect or know what to go through when it comes to this? It's not about toughening up. It's letting people know that you are there for them, and I think that's a very important reminder just to put out there from now to after the storm has passed. People are there for each other, and we've got to make it shown from now, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I remember going to Orlando, and I think it was at Disney, They had this simulation of hurricanes. It's an area they have in there, a simulation of hurricanes, and you can actually go in and get to experience what a hurricane is like, things blowing around in the air, the wind pressure, and everything else. And I'm like, I wouldn't even go in there, you know.
No, yeah.
Because I almost lost my life in Ivan. We were outside, and some zinc flew by, and we were trying to put up, we were trying to fix a part of the roof that had come off where I was staying at the time. But what I would say to people though is that you know, if you have small kids and they have like iPads or something, go out and buy some headphones, and you know, they'll probably have to turn up the volume or something while the thunder and the lightning or whatever that comes with this hurricane. You know, you know, that might be helpful for them if they have some headphones, you know, an iPad or something. Distract them a bit, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Release those sounds. Yeah, it's good advice. Good advice for sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. God bless you all, and may all the people in the Cayman Islands stay safe, even though it looks like a Category 5. But let's pray hard and check on our neighbor. Thank you. God bless.
God bless you too.
Right.
Yeah, wise words for sure. Everybody pray for each other. Make sure you're prepared. That's even better to do. Make sure you're very prepared and you're ready to tackle the storm, no matter if it's going to be a Category 5 or it's going to be a Category 2 or it dissipates altogether, which is very highly unlikely. It's just going to dissipate. So slowing down isn't always a good thing either. That's for sure. There is a brand new weather bulletin that has come out, a weather advisory on Hurricane Beryl, and this is as of 10 a.m. So the location is at 15.3 north, 68.9 west. It's about 235 miles southeast of 555 miles east-southeast of Kingston, Jamaica. Maximum sustained winds are 160 miles per hour. And the minimum central pressure is at 938. Is it millibars? I think it's millibars. All right, so we know that we are in a hurricane watch. So that is all three islands, Grand, Little, and Cayman Brac. We are in a hurricane watch, and that was issued as of 4 a.m. this morning. We're going to get more updates as the day goes on. Definitely tune in. Stay tuned to Radio Cayman. We're about to have our 10 a.m. news headlines hit, which is probably going to give you another outlook at what the weather is. Remember, right now it is a Category 5 hurricane. It is expected that the strength will not be as strong, that it will not, hopefully that it will not be a Category 5 hurricane when it does pass through the Cayman Islands. And that is based on some models looking at the storm saying the space, which was explained earlier, which I'm not going to re-explain because I might get it wrong, but the space is going to be different, as well as cooler water temperatures when Beryl starts crossing over to the Cayman Islands. So it is those two conditions that are making it hopeful that Beryl will not be as strong when Beryl does pass Jamaica and hits the Cayman Islands. So we're not expecting it to be a 5. It doesn't mean it cannot be a 5. It means everybody be vigilant, prepare for the worst, just be ready. Because the more ready you are, the more you know what to do. If you're not ready, you're just going to be frantic, running around, not being able to figure it out. If you don't know how to get ready, go to caymanprepared.ky. Make sure you go there to get your hurricane preparations in plan as well. Do note that Talk Today will be starting earlier this morning, so that's going to start at 11 a.m. this morning. You're going to be with Sterling on Talk Today. I'm sure you're going to hear from many of our elected representatives, members of parliament, emergency responders, people from the NEOC, hazard management, those in lead of our country, those who are supposed to help guide us and keep us on a forward path. a good thinking path to help us get through Hurricane Beryl. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me this morning. A bit of an extended show because we had to talk to certain people that were coming in. We didn't know everybody's schedule. We didn't know what was going on. We wanted some members of Parliament to call in, be able to get their messages out. So thank you for joining me so much on the Business Buzz this morning. Stay tuned to Radio Cayman. Remember, we do have an app. So if you don't have a radio at home, and hopefully the internet doesn't go out, but just in case, you can listen to us on our app. Just search Radio Cayman in the Google Play or the Apple Store and download our app from there. It is free. You can listen to the good music vibrations on Breeze 105.3 FM, or you can listen to us, which is a mix of music, talk, and news. That's Radio Cayman 89.9 FM. Check us out in the App Store and stay informed all day, all evening long. Thanks for joining us this morning.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio